world of qualities. Like you seek out qualities, and certain characters have qualities that are a little more pronounced. There are qualities and types of people that you know that you can take certain things from. And I mean, I don't know what, you know, like, this is like hard because it's sort of like there's a lot of me in the work, and then there's a lot of bits and pieces that I'm taking from moments, from things that I've seen from other people, or qualities of how they go through their lives. And because they make certain choices, certain things are eliminated. So if you find, like, the character in Fallen Angels, he's extraordinarily protective of his environment, but he's completely insane about it at the same time. So it makes him... a lot of stuff gets disregarded, and then there's specific focuses on certain things. So, like, in that particular instance, that was to commit wholeheartedly to that kind of tunnel vision, and then sort of let whatever out happened without any judgment or concern of, you know, what the other characters were thinking of you or why. Like, I find I don't judge the characters negatively because I can always find something positive about them, no matter how bad they are, or their actions are bad, but they may not be bad. It's making sort of points like that. And then, say, this Carl Basai's movie that I'm working on now, there's a sort of detachment by having read a lot about these types of characters that I'm in it and out of it at exactly the same time. Say, playing a serial killer, and then you're just caught in that. You're in a world. You're in a world where the mind is friable, where people are disposable, where you're thinking about a society where there's a percentage of people in the world who do certain things, like, and it's terrible, but it's the world we live in, and so without judgment, you kind of try to look at it, but it's not, you know, where one wants to be for that long. But there's information in it. For me, as I'm looking at the world we live in and the problems down in certain areas of, you know, most major cities, and how people can become victims, how people evolve into predators, all of those things. It's a fine balance between playing somebody who's a terrible character, like, who has a terrible behavior, and still making him likable, and still making him human enough that you go, we see ourselves in that person, we recognize that in ourselves. And that's, to me, I like that. I like it that it doesn't move too far, you know, one way, or that you get something from it rather than just being able to go, oh, that person is that. But there's, you know, there's qualities in everyone that are negative and positive, so finding, you know, some have more and less, and it's just, you know, that fine balance between picking and choosing when it works and when it doesn't. Like, say, in Flower and Garnet, that character was broken. He wasn't a bad person. He was just broken, and he had a hardship that he didn't get over. Like, and everybody knows what that's like. Maybe they don't know it to that degree, and they don't know it. His response to it wasn't very good, but he also didn't leave. And so he's a good father because he didn't leave. He wasn't accessible, he wasn't available, he wasn't a lot of things. He wasn't a good father, except he didn't leave. And, you know, that was his good quality. And, you know, the films, for me, he's just waiting to sort of open up again, and he's having a tough time. But we all recognize that in people around us and in life, and so it's trying to find life in these characters and in a way that's recognizable, I guess. For me, I mean, we've all had stuff that's happened to us. If we made the choice to hold on to it and victimize ourselves, it would change our lives. So this, you know, like, and so in that process, I actually didn't have that much fun on that show. I wasn't as goofy as I think. I'd say goofy, but just not. It was like this is an eerie, sort of sad place to go and just sort of hang around in. Somebody who, you're around kids, and I love kids, and like, we just never really, as actors, we didn't really connect all that much, because I just that was just part of the process on that one, where there was people to spend time with, but I just didn't. And when we'd be in scenes, it would be like being with strangers rather than my own children that I was supposedly the father of. I've had a couple shows in the last, well, no, I've had one show in the last probably 10 years, and then I'd had one before in Edmonton. And I like painting as a, the process is so completely different than working in film, where there's so many people around, there's an audience that's going to see it afterwards, and I find working just with your hands and making something, it's your choice. If you show it to somebody, you're making the choices of what it is that you're going to represent or not represent, or, you know, and there's something quite satisfying and completely opposite from working as an actor. So I've probably been very selfish on a lot of levels, and, you know, for I passed over certain things that may have, you know, relationships and whatnot, because I was focused on career, but trying to find an equal balance between career and having a life, and a life with, you know, some great people, and have that work out, I think, is the way to go. Getting to do lots of different things through many different ages, you know, like in my 30s, now my 40s, and hopefully in my 50s and 60s, that I get a longevity, you know, how do you say it? Longevity. Longevity, that's what I want.